Ooh, that looks tasty. Welcome, folks, to the Hungry Gamers, back with another mini review. Actually, I think, if I count this up correctly, this is the 497th? No, 96th video I've done about Omicron Protocol. And that's simply because I think this is a game that has a lot going on for it. And you may or may not know this, I did a preview for them before they launched their first campaign, which did not succeed. And then I did another preview when they launched their second campaign talking about the solo mode that they introduced. And the campaign did succeed. Yay! And then I did a couple of my very early playthrough videos. It did horrible angles, like over my shoulder or some garbage, terrible audio. But I did a couple of playthroughs of the solo mode, and eventually they contracted me to do a how to play video, and blah, 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 blah. Finally, the game has delivered. Now, I'll also say, it also has this very cool art. Now, look at this. This is an art book. This is a storybook. This is like a college textbook is what this thing is. But also that. So as you can see, it has finally delivered. And they asked me if I would just put my final thoughts on video. I almost said on paper, right? I'm an idiot here. But on video, because they are about to launch a micro campaign for 2 cross-faction characters. So 2 new models, then a reprint. And so I thought, sure, yes, I'll come to it. So I'm not going to go into how you play the game. What is it? It is a miniatures skirmish game with, as I said, a ton of lore behind it. Every character has its own story. You can actually kind of play along with the story. You can actually read through all of that and all the conflicts that happen in there. You can actually play them out through the different scenarios that come in the game. But it's a skirmish game that, well, I'm going to be honest, it's got a lot of rules. Like, there's a lot going on, but it is a miniature skirmish game. Those, by their nature, have a lot of rules going on. I'm going to boil it down, though, to this. The main mechanic in the game is when you are taking some kind of action against whatever you're attacking, you're going to roll a set number of d6 dice based on your attack stat. And you're going to roll those dice, and you're trying to beat the target's dexterity number or agility number. And if you do that for each one of those, you're not going to just do a damage. You're going to have a choice. You get to go to this little thing they call the action store. And it might be, well, I could spend 4 successes to do 2 damage. Or maybe I want to spend 2 successes to do 1 damage, but then use another one of those to shift them, push them somewhere else so they're closer to these things called the Sims I want to talk about in just a minute. Then I'll use my last one to give myself a luck token, which is something I can use for dice mitigation kind of later on. And along with that, on your turn, you're going to have 7 action points you can use, or less if you're playing a 2-player game. And you're able to pretty much divide those up how you want. So you want one character to go 4 times in a row? Have one character take 4 actions in a row. And have another one take 1, and the last one and then the third one take 3 actions. I don't know if I'm already over my count, but then have the last person take none. Or whatever. So you can do that. You can choose how you want to do it. But it's that action store is the core of the game. You're making these purchases, doing things, and you have a whole list of stuff that each character can do, and each character has a whole bunch of stuff that it can do. Each character is completely unique, down to the level that you would get if you were playing some kind of dungeon crawl board game. Now, the other thing that I need to make sure that I point out, that you have a quick understanding of, is the big thing that this game does is you have what are called the Sims in the game. Cybermimetic sociopaths. Or cyberpunk zombies. And the lore behind it is that some computer virus has happened in 2050, and through people's neural implants, some people are kind of trapped in this virtual reality world, and there's violent and whatever. And they attack people based on the EM noise that they make. The virus allows them to kind of track people's neural implants and enhancements or whatever. So every time you do stuff, you're going to make a certain amount of EM noise, and that's going to draw them. But the key here is they are a neutral third party. So you're playing competitive. What's going to happen is you do your thing, your attacks, your shooting, whatever. You're going to make a certain amount of noise for that character. Then, whatever noise level that is, there's a radius around you that every single sim in that territory is going to activate. Who activates them? Me. I get to send them after you, make them move forward and beat you up, beat you down. Of course, you can get points by taking them out, but you get the idea. So there's this third party kind of going back and forth that really keeps you on your toes. Now, enough explaining. Go watch my How to Play if you want to learn how to do it. So what do I like about this game? Everything I've liked before. What I am going to just say is the production is good. It looks nice. Everything fits in the one box pretty darn easily. The minis, they look pretty good. I haven't painted them yet, but I'm gonna. The standees look really good. If you have the standees version, I don't know if the standees version is going to be available, but they look great. All of that really, really did come together very nicely. I still think, as I've said many times before, if you are looking for a miniature skirmish game, and you are not looking for one of the really light ones, because there's some very good light ones out there. There really are. By light, I mean 4 rules. I'm thinking of like God tier, right? There's like 5 rules in that game. I don't know. Very few. But if you're looking for something that has some crunch, if you're looking for a crunchier miniature skirmish game, you're not going to find a better one. Period. It does all those things that I look for in a game. It has unique characters, and these unique characters are backed up with a ton of story. And by the way, you don't have to buy this. This is also free on one of their websites, so you can read all this stuff. And not only that, but each character is interesting. It does one of those things that I really do like, that if you don't pick your characters from your faction for each individual scenario, based on what they can do and what the scenario needs, you're gonna be in a world of hurt. You can be playing the animals faction and have the little tiny kitty cat out there running around doing what it does, but if your goal is to just do straight damage, that kitty cat's not gonna do a lot of damage. However, if you need to get around, you need some maneuverability, because you need to get somewhere, grab something, get back, well, the cat might be a really good option, as opposed to the elephant, which moves like 3 spaces every turn. So it adds a level of thought to the drafting of the characters on your team. It's not really draft, you can pick whoever you want, but you get the idea. I also think the solo mode works really well. It allows you to really explore the different factions and kind of learn how they work, because in some ways you need a little practice as you're doing this, but it lets you explore these factions in a way that plays very, very quickly and can be exceedingly challenging. So again, all of that I enjoy, and I love the action store thing. I think I wish, I think it's just fantastic. I wish Dungeon Crawls would use that. It's just a fun mechanic. I really do like that. Sort of my quibbles with the game. The first one is, as I already mentioned, I mean, there's a lot of rules. I mean, my video's 25 plus minutes. It's just a lot of stuff in the game. It means if you want to do something, you can do it, and there's a rule for it. But there's a lot going on, and it is a lot to take in to fully grasp what's going on. I think it's worth it, but there's a lot going on. And I'll also say that regarding the solo mode, would I recommend this game solely for solo? I don't know, because a lot of the really great interaction comes from how the other faction plays. Now, the solo mode does add abilities to the Sims, so it makes them all feel unique as you're going through, but not in a way that you can kind of plan for. So the solo mode, though fun and a great way to experience your different factions, and exceedingly challenging, is not something that if you don't think you will ever play this in a skirmish mode, then it might not be something that you want to grab. It might not be something that you want to grab. I think having that solo mode really is something that's going to make the skirmish game pop even more. I think it's fun. It's something that I will play on occasion. But if that's all I'm going to play, maybe not. So that's just something you need to think about. I know some people that have loved only having the solo. That's all they want. They never want to play skirmish. But just something to keep in mind. You're not getting the full experience with the solo game as you are if you're also playing skirmish. But there you have it, folks. That's a very long mini review where I told you almost nothing. Again, I really do think that if you're looking for a miniature skirmish game, and you're looking for one that has some crunch to it, has some depth to it, you will be very hard-pressed to find one that is better, that is more mechanically satisfying, or that has a more unique story and depth of story behind it. So there you have it, folks. That is Omicron Protocol, coming back to crowdfunding very soon, and possibly my last video on Omicron. We'll see. But as always, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.